Hi, welcome back to my channel, where I make art and talk about my favorite topics of the week. So, we all know about art styles, the thing that every artist is contractually obligated to struggle with and panic about how to find theirs. I always find that my art style is constantly changing, for better or worse, and most of the time it is influenced by the media I am consuming at the time. Today's concept is actually inspired by an old challenge I did with a Star Wars OC, where I tried to emulate some of the various Star Wars animation styles. So, for this video, I decided to take that idea and recreate it, but this time with my art Sona instead. And I also chose a couple of different art styles as well. Let's get into it. So, like the original challenge, I chose all the art styles from some form of animated media. But for the first one, I chose Sailor Moon. And since I'm drawing my Sona, I figured I could skip drawing in my own art style since you will be seeing the original portrait in the corner of this video anyway. So, Sailor Moon was not a show that I was really personally invested in, but I remember when I was younger, I used to be babysat by my aunt, and her daughter, who was a lot older than me, she liked Sailor Moon. And sometimes she would show me some episodes, or we would look at the manga in the bookstore. So, in a way, Sailor Moon was one of the first animes I ever experienced, and that's why I chose it. I did consider picking some other animated series that are probably more personal to myself and the development of my own art style. A few of the shows I considered were the DC animated shows, Totally Spies, Young Justice, and Voltron. The 2016 Voltron. The fandom and questionable storylines aside, Voltron was probably the most influential on my art style, as I was really drawing more often during that time. Perhaps it's not as obvious anymore, but I think it's still really clear when you look at some of my design choices, even now. Eventually, I settled on Sailor Moon because honestly, Naoko Takeuchi's art style is iconic and really representative of 90s shoujo manga and anime styles. And it was really fun to do a style that I don't really do often. The second portrait is also done in an anime style, albeit this one is really different from Sailor Moon. I chose the Gurren Lagann style to emulate. Now, this series is not new, but I only got into it around last year. And I am a sucker for dramatic lighting, so of course, when I saw the super inky stylized eye catches, I knew I would be stealing that for my own art. And I have used the black filled shading style a few times in my art since watching the show. I mean, I did make a whole other video specifically emulating this style, but with X-Men characters. The style of the anime and the eye catches are slightly different, but I basically took a little inspiration from both. For the face, I referenced Kamina mostly, just because I think his face matches up best with the features I've assigned to my Sona. Gurren Lagann is so good, guys. I'm so serious. I've been wanting to rewatch it, but I also don't know if I have the emotional capacity to go through it right now. Also, since I wear glasses, and I decided that my Sona should wear glasses too, I needed to draw glasses quite a few times in this video, and let me tell you, it is not the easiest thing in the world. So I took the opportunity to do something different in this one, and I gave myself the Kamina glasses. I thought of doing the star one Simone has, but then it would cover up too much of the face and hair I had going on already, so I just stuck to these. The next art style is one you would see very often on this channel right here, but I couldn't not do it, it's one of my favorites. I chose to do my next portrait in the Marvel Rival style. So obviously I do a whole series of drawing concepts for Rivals characters, and I would say I'm quite familiar with it now. Although I have to admit, I'm pretty sure over time I've basically been drawing mostly in my own style, and then I just put some of that white highlight on it and call it the Rival style. It's either that, or I've basically done the style so often that I've basically adopted it as my own at this point. I will say, out of all the styles I've chosen for today, Rivals is the one that is the closest to my own art style, no matter which way you choose to look at it. While Marvel Rivals obviously has many animated elements, being a video game, I actually based this portrait off the style of the 2D art rather than the in-game models. Frankly, this is the way I do all of my Rivals art, but just to be clear, that is what I'm referring to for my style study. I tried to be a bit more careful with this one to actually go back and refer to the style from the original images and not just my memory like I usually do. And this really reminded me of how much I love this style. A lot of the time, I tend to make my lines and rendering as perfect as possible, which ends up making my art feel very flat and stiff. So I just really like that I get to force myself to loosen up a little with brushstrokes. Okay, so my last portrait is an homage to the original challenge. I chose to do it in the Clone Wars animation style. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure how much of a success this one was, but considering I was trying to recreate a 3D art style in a 2D fashion, I will give myself a pass. This one was a struggle. First of all, I'm not used to working without line art, and there are just certain effects that you can achieve with 3D that I'm not really able to do the same for in 2D. Another thing I probably could have done was take reference from a specific era of Clone Wars animation, because over the years that it ran, the animation changed a lot. The style itself remained recognizable to viewers, but there were definitely improvements to things like texturing and scene lighting that happened between seasons. I think I used mainly Satine and Bo-Katan as my references, but Satine was from season 2, and Bo I got from season 7. The colors were definitely way duller in the earlier seasons, and in my attempt to emulate it, I ended up committing a painting crime. I used black to shade because I wanted to bring out the depth of the shadows, but I'm not so sure that worked as well as I'd hoped. Maybe one day I will learn to sculpt in Blender, and I will be able to recreate this style more faithfully. How many times do you think I said style in this video? Either way, this challenge was fun, and I find it's always educational to try and figure out the way other artists approach their work and what design choices go into making art for different styles. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions for other video ideas, you can let me know in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram at Caitlinverse to see the rest of my work, and if you want to support me so I can keep making more videos, you can subscribe or donate to my Ko-fi, or find my stuff for purchase on Redbubble and in print. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.